this is Jet from JechtSpencer.com, and today I'm going to be brewing kombucha. This is going to be A to Z style video. I'm going to be going through all of the ingredients that you need as well as all of the steps so that you can brew kombucha at home. What exactly is kombucha? Kombucha is a black or green fermented tea that the Chinese have coined as the elixir of life. The characteristics of this drink include the curbing of the appetite, increased energy, as well as increased detoxification of free radicals. So if you're someone who wants an increased amount of health or fitness in your own life, I highly recommend this drink. It's very, very easy to make, and we're going to start it right here, right now. So let's get started. I have all the materials laid out right here. The first thing that we're going to be talking about is a metal pot. And you need something that's going to have at least a capacity of 3 liters of water that you can bring to a boil. The next thing that we're going to be talking about is a 1-gallon glass jar. This particular jar, you need it to be glass. If it's metal or if it's plastic, your SCOBY will actually eat away at these materials. I'll get into what exactly a SCOBY is later. The next thing you're going to need is black organic tea. You don't want anything with any oils in it, anything that is going to mess with the pH levels and consistency of your SCOBY. I highly recommend black organic tea. It doesn't have to be expensive. It can be very, very simple. You can use green tea as well, but black tea is a lot easier on the fermentation process. The next thing you're going to need is sugar. This is actually what is going to feed your SCOBY once your SCOBY has gotten into its new environment. So making sure that you have a nice pure cane sugar, not a granulated sugar, but something that is preferably organic as well. If you feed your SCOBY right, your SCOBY will take care of you. The next thing we're going to be talking about is this cloth. Your SCOBY needs to breathe, and it's going to be put inside this glass jar. And the only way to keep flies out, keep all those pests out, is something like this. This is actually a cheesecloth. And the reason why I recommend something like cheesecloth is because if you use something like a paper towel and those little bits of paper fall down into your glass jar, your SCOBY will actually eat away at this, and there's a chance it could actually kill it. Rubber band. Pretty simple. Use this to wrap around the top and keep the cheesecloth in place. And voila, the creme de la creme, the ultimate, the SCOBY. Now this is a very small SCOBY. I purchased it on Amazon, but when you create, and a SCOBY is actually a symbiotic culture of bacteria and yeast. This thing is actually alive. So what this does is it actually draws the sugar and draws the caffeine and makes the fermentation process and creates an acidic environment for the tea to create an amazing drink. All right, we are now in the kitchen and we are bringing the water to a boil. I'm currently doing 3 liters. Popping open our black tea bags here and just throw 6 of them in. 2. Alright, so the tea is finished boiling. I've left the tea bags in here for about 4 or 5 minutes. You can do it longer if you want a more of a bitter taste. But we're going to take those out right now. Give them a good shake. And there. Next thing we're going to need is a cup of sugar. So, pour sugar into here, and for about 3 liters to a gallon, you want at least 1 cup of sugar. I'm going to do a little bit less because I'm doing 3 liters as opposed to a gallon. And we're going to put that in there. And you're going to want to stir it. You're going to want to make sure that all of the sugar has dissolved. You don't want any particles sitting there on the bottom. Now I know a lot of people, there's actually a quicker way of going about this. If you have some purified water or something like that, and you don't want to wait the whole time it's going to take for this tea to cool down to about room temperature, you need to wait for the tea to cool down to room temperature, because if you put the SCOBY in there while it's still hot, then it's going to kill your SCOBY. So the best thing that you can do is just allow it cool naturally, but if you want a more quicker way to just get this thing started, you can boil about half that amount, boil about 2 liters, and then pour in a liter of purified water so that it just cools down a little bit quicker. But for here in this video, what we're going to do is we're just going to let it cool naturally. So I'm going to stir it. I'm going to make sure all that sugar is dissolved. It looks like it is. Put this right here. I'm going to take this off the burner. Just going to push it to the side here. And we're going to let it just cool down for a little bit. Alright, so our tea has finished brewing, and what we're going to do is we're going to now take this tea and we are going to pour it inside of our 1 gallon glass jar. Beautiful. Alright, put this over here. Next, what we're going to do is get our SCOBY. Once again, that's a symbiotic culture of bacteria and yeast. I'll have you take a look at it. Just kind of looks like a little mushroom, and we're going to drop it into the glass right here. Now, as you can see, there's already some kombucha tea that's been provided with this package. This thing would not stay alive without this kombucha tea. You can't just take the SCOBY and put it directly into the black tea. It needs some of the starter tea as well in order to survive. So what we're going to do, really simple, we're going to cut this open. There we go. And we're just going to lightly pour, and you can kind of see our SCOBY right here. Give you a better look at it. Looks kind of funky, and we're going to put that into the tea. Wonderful. Then what we're going to do, very simple, get our goat cheesecloth. A lot of air that can get through this. The SCOBY needs air in order to survive, in order to start the fermenting process. We're just going to throw that over the top here. Grab a rubber band. Put it around the bottom here. And boom. We got ourselves a beautiful, wonderful fermentation process right here. And that's all she wrote. It's looking really good right here. If you do decide to put it in somewhere like a closet, make sure that the door remains open. You want to keep it at around 74, 75 degrees. That allows the fermentation process to not have any problems whatsoever. You're not going to contract any mold. You're not going to bring any pesticides into your fermentation process. And that's really all she wrote. If you enjoyed the video, I know this is a little bit different from what I normally do. Please make sure to subscribe, like, and or comment. And as always, good fortune to you, my friend.